The Las Vegas Raiders pulled off something nobody saw coming 3 months ago. They landed the number 1 overall pick after a 3-14 season nobody believed they earned, then spent the entire offseason looking smarter than every other front office in the AFC West. The Heisman Trophy lives in Henderson now. The Indiana quarterback who led the Hoosiers to 16 wins and a national title sits inside the building wearing silver and black. And Clint Kubiak is the head coach betting his entire reputation on getting Fernando Mendoza ready for everything coming. Yet a question hangs over every press conference and every photo from organized team activities. If the rookie is the future of this franchise, why does Kirk Cousins stand in front of him on day 1 of camp? Center Tyler Linderbaum signed the richest contract in the history of his position, 3 years and $81 million to anchor an offensive line still recovering from being dead, last in rushing yards per game. Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean arrived from Georgia together, sharing a national championship ring between them. Kwity Paye joined the edge rotation. Jalen Naylor brings a fresh receiving option to the offense. Somewhere inside this haul of free agency money sits one signing, destined to define the next 3 seasons for this franchise. And the reason hides inside contract details nobody has discussed yet. Max Crosby is still here. The trade to Baltimore collapsed inside a medical exam room. Rob Leonard runs the defense now. The AFC West is the toughest division in football. 7 of 17 opponents made the playoffs last year. The silver and black stand at a crossroads, and the answers come in waves. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Raiders and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 300 likes on this video. This story extends beyond a quarterback. The Raiders hired the right coach first, and the order matters more than anyone outside Henderson seems willing to admit. Clint Kubiak spent last season turning a Seattle offense, once ranked 18th in scoring, into the 3rd best unit in the National Football League at 28.4 points per game. The Seahawks set franchise records for points in a single season. They scored 30 or more points in 9 games, including the postseason. They beat the New England Patriots 29-13 in Super Bowl 60. The Raiders looked at every offensive mind available across the league and picked him before anyone else got the chance. The Las Vegas offense finished last season, scoring 14.1 points per game. The rushing attack averaged 77.5 yards per game, dead last across the entire league. The total yards number sat at 245.2 per game, worst in football. Kubiak inherited a roster with Ashton Genty at running back, Brock Bowers at tight end, and roughly nothing else worth building around. The first move he made was hiring offensive coordinator Andrew Janocko, who tutored Sam Darnold through a 4,048-yard season en route to that Super Bowl 60 title. The fingerprints of competency now sit all over this organization. General Manager John Spytek entered free agency with the most available cap space in football. He spent it with intention. Owner Mark Davis opened the checkbook and let his front office build the foundation. The question is no longer whether this franchise hired the right people. The question is whether the right people get enough time to finish the work they started. Defense gets the second wave of attention, and the man running it has been in this building for years. Rob Leonard moved from defensive line coach to defensive coordinator after Kubiak took the head job, and the promotion makes sense the moment you look at his relationship with Max Crosby. Leonard knows the locker room. He knows the personnel. He knows how to coach a front. The Raiders gave him 3 new starters at linebacker and edge rusher to reshape the back 7, and the entire group came together inside a single 48-hour window in March. Quay Walker signed for 3 years and $40.5 million after 4 seasons, leading the Green Bay Packers in tackles. He topped 100 tackles in every single one of those campaigns. Nakobe Dean signed for 3 years and $36 million after winning a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. Both linebackers played together at Georgia and won the college football playoff together. They asked their agents to keep them paired during free agency. They got their wish. Kwity Paye joined the edge rotation off 4 seasons in Indianapolis, where he chased quarterbacks for one of the better fronts in the AFC South. Eric Stokes re-signed at cornerback. Malcolm Koonce stayed too. Taron Johnson arrived via trade from Buffalo, though contract questions still hang around the slot corner. The shift to a 3-4 base scheme allows Leonard to use his pieces with creativity. Walker brings sideline-to-sideline range against the run. Dean brings blitz instincts off the edge. Paye supplies a fresh body opposite Crosby on the line. None of this defense looks anything like the unit that finished last year, and the changes were intentional from the moment Spytek sat down with his coordinator board. The silver and black plan to hit teams harder this fall. Here sits the story barely anyone has wrapped their arms around, and it almost broke the entire offseason apart. The Raiders agreed to send Max Crosby to the Baltimore Ravens in exchange for 2 first-round picks during the early days of free agency. The deal included pick number 14 in this past draft, 5-time Pro Bowl edge rusher to the AFC North, 2 top 15 selections back to Henderson. The trade hit the wire on a Friday. By Tuesday evening of the following week, the entire arrangement had collapsed inside a Baltimore medical facility, and Crosby was walking back into the Raiders building like nothing ever happened. The reason was a meniscus repair. Crosby played through a knee injury for the second half of last season before sitting the final 2 games. He had surgery in early January. The Ravens reviewed the imaging during the trade physical and walked away from the deal entirely. Within 24 hours, Baltimore signed Trey Hendrickson to a 4-year deal worth $112 million. The Raiders kept their 5-time Pro Bowler. They kept his 3-year, $106.5 million extension on the books. They kept the most dominant pass rusher of his generation on a defense desperate to need him healthy. What looked like a defining moment for the franchise back in March now looks like the best thing to happen all offseason. Crosby is reportedly ahead of schedule in his recovery. The Ravens spent the picks they would have given up on other moves. Las Vegas held on to a player worth 2 first-round selections without paying them. Sometimes, the best trade is the one nobody finishes, and the silver and black might end up thanking Baltimore for getting cold feet. The Heisman winner deserves his own section, and the path that brought him to Las Vegas explains everything about why this regime trusted the pick. Fernando Mendoza spent 2 seasons at California, completing 69% of his passes before transferring to Indiana in December of 2024. He immediately led the Hoosiers to a 16-0 record under coach Curt Cignetti. He completed 273 passes for 3,535 yards and 41 touchdowns against only 6 interceptions. He won the Maxwell Award, the Walter Camp Award, the Davey O'Brien Award, the AP Player of the Year, Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, and the Heisman Trophy. Then he beat Miami 27-21 in the College Football Playoff National Championship at Hard Rock Stadium, walking distance from where he grew up. The draft picks behind him deserve attention too. Tre'Dan Stukes went at number 38 from Arizona, a former walk-on turned team captain who plays nickel or safety. Kieran Crawford went at 67 from Auburn with a defensive end skill set built around pass rush moves. Jermud McCoy dropped to 101 because of a knee concern, and the Raiders grabbed a first-round talent at corner. Mike Washington Jr. ran a 4.33 40-yard dash at the Combine and gives Ashton Jeanty a real running mate. Dalton Johnson at safety. Hezekiah Masses at corner. Malik Benson at receiver. Brandon Cleveland at defensive tackle. This class graded out as the most efficient haul in football by PFF metrics. The future quarterback finally arrived. The supporting pieces sit around him. The waiting is over. The AFC West does not forgive young quarterbacks, and the schedule release made that clear within seconds of the email hitting the press box. The Raiders won 1 game in 6 tries against their division last season. They went 0-6 the year before. The path through Kansas City, Denver, and Los Angeles has been the steepest climb in football for 4 straight seasons, and the road does not look any easier this time around. The Chiefs returned Patrick Mahomes from a knee injury suffered late last year. The Broncos paid Bo Nix to be their franchise quarterback. The Chargers have Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert ready to push back. The Raiders play these opponents 6 times this fall. They open the season at home against Miami, then travel to face the Chargers in Week 2. The Saints visit in Week 3, then Kansas City arrives at Allegiant Stadium in Week 4. The Patriots take them on the road in Week 5. The schedule makers handed Las Vegas the 7th hardest slate in football, based on opponent winning percentage from last season. 7 of 17 opponents made the playoffs. None of those matchups land in primetime. Not one. The lack of primetime games tells you everything about where the league sees this roster. Respect gets earned with wins, not draft picks. The path forward starts with division games and ends with proving this roster is closer than people think. The schedule offers no hiding spots. The schedule offers no easy stretches. The Raiders fight for every single victory on the calendar, and the fight starts inside the AFC West, where 4 consecutive losing seasons have already put a target on every silver and black helmet. The biggest move of the entire offseason hides inside the Tyler Linderbaum contract, and the answer was sitting in plain sight the whole time. 3 years, $81 million, $60 million guaranteed, the richest contract for a center in the history of professional football, and it landed inside a building drafting a rookie quarterback first overall. The math tells you the rest. Linderbaum earned a 96.2% pass, block win rate across 66 starts in Baltimore. He earned 3 straight Pro Bowl nods. He anchored a Ravens offense ranked top 2 in rushing yards per game 4 years running. The Raiders did not pay him to be good. They paid him to be the foundation. The reason hides in the offensive scheme. Clint Kubiak runs an outside zone running game adapted from the Kyle Shanahan family tree. The system demands centers who move laterally, climb to the second level, and create movement in space. Linderbaum is the best center in football at exactly those things. Pair him with Ashton Genty, who rushed for 975 yards as a rookie behind one of the worst offensive lines in football, and the math gets dangerous. Add Mike Washington Jr. behind him. Add a healthy Brock Bowers as a blocker. Add a quarterback room with Kirk Cousins at the helm to start. This is the signing nobody talked about correctly back in March. People saw the dollar figure and called it an overpay. The Raiders saw a multi-year solution for the most important position outside of quarterback. Mendoza will eventually walk into the huddle with the best center in football already protecting him. The foundation gets built before the building goes up. The DraftKings over-under sits at 5.5 wins. Mike Clay, over at ESPN, projects 5.1 wins. Both numbers ignore everything this franchise did from February through April. Clint Kubiak finished his first head coaching evaluation period with the best offensive coordinator hire on the market. John Spytek finished his second offseason with the richest free agency haul of any team in football. Fernando Mendoza finished his college career as the most decorated quarterback prospect since Caleb Williams. The Raiders win 8 games this fall. Bank on it. The path looks clearer than anyone admits, and the schedule sets up better than the projections suggest. Week 13 sits as the bye week, and that timing helps everyone. Kirk Cousins starts the season under center while Mendoza absorbs the offense from the sideline. The bye lands after a trip to Cleveland in Week 12, and 3 straight home games against the Chargers, Broncos, and Titans wait on the other side. If the rookie is ready by then, the building stays packed for the takeover. If Cousins is winning games, nobody disrupts the rhythm. Either way, the silver and black get a path that makes sense. The joint practice with the Texans on August 20th offers the first real test against a top defense, and the answers will come quickly. Drop your win total prediction in the comments and hit subscribe before the next breakdown drops, because the silver and black are coming back, and nobody is ready for it. 8 wins minimum. The AFC West gets a new bully this fall, and Henderson is where the rebuild ends.